This episode of Mystery Files is sponsored by Gonna Need Milk. That's good! Welcome to Mystery Files, where we take a deep dive into cases that span from the creepy to the truly bizarre and everything in between. I'm Ryan, and today I'll be milking the truth from the mystery of cattle abduction with my partner Shane. And in the end, you'll have to decide if the mystery is solved or if it's simply a mystery.
A milkstery.
Not your best word.
Is that, hey, I'm just getting warmed up.
Okay.
Well, I don't have my full glass in me yet.
That's what the milk is for. It helps your brain, the nutrients. That is creamy, I have to say. You ever hear about this? You see
I've heard about it, but I guess I always thought it was just sort of one of those tropes that didn't actually have any factual basis, but I guess I'm about to learn a little bit today. Let's milk this for all we can.
Trust me, we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
It's just like we're gonna get to the bottom of these glasses. We're gonna need a refill
God willing.
pretty soon.
I might need a topper. Cows have played an important role in human lives since the dawn of recorded history. Archaeological records show that the domestication of cows may have begun as early as 10,500 years ago, making cattle one of the first animals to live closely with humans, providing mankind with everything from clothing to fertilizer for crops, and of course, dairy milk. You drink milk?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Well, I grew up in the Midwest and we like our milk there, you know? Like dunking our cookies in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just drink it with dinner, which I heard some people go, you drink milk with dinner? I go, yeah, you drink milk with dinner.
A nice steak?
Just
Steak and milk?
Milk and steak,
Some
yeah.
milk and steak night.
Milk and a burger, milk and a hot dog.
Yeah.
It's got those nutrients. It makes my brain big and strong. Scientists will tell you so.
Yeah, like cognitive function and, mental well-being, things like that. Right?
Yeah.
How do you say milk, by the way?
Milk.
I think that's how I say it too, milk. I heard Midwesterners say it strange, so I figured maybe it was...
No, they don't. They say milk.
Okay, it wasn't like an attack. I was just saying I heard
No,
that.
guy grew up with, well, his family always said molk.
Did he have a brain injury?
No.
Oh, okay.
They were just weird. Some people say milk.
He would go to the market or a diner and be like, I'll take some milk.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of life he led. I don't know.
Okay. In 1897, something not of this planet came for the cows. A Kansas rancher named Alexander Hamilton, not that one.
What? How did you just use the image of actual Alexander Hamilton?
I know that's confusing. It isn't him. That's not that guy, but that's the one everyone knows.
So you might as well.
This is the guy who was milking.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have been milking too.
I'm sure they were all milking.
Everybody was milking.
Yeah.
Alexander Hamilton, his son, and a hired worker saw a giant cigar-shaped ship hovering over one of the corrals. On the underside of the ship, Hamilton claimed there were, quote, 6 of the strangest beings I ever saw in a carriage. Gazing on the unidentified flying object, they heard a moo. A calf was stuck in a nearby fence. Tied around the calf was a rope extending upward.
The rope?
That's right, rope.
They're traveling across the galaxy. They're using rope for that?
I'll tell you what I'm about to say when
Space rope.
Tied around the calf was a rope extending upward, leading directly to the UFO. Perhaps the visitors had identified a future source of nourishment.
It's especially interesting because I guess it never occurred to me that there would be UFO sightings before aerial technology was a thing.
Now, here's why I think that's interesting, right? Because a lot of people think UFOs are attributed to popular media, and therefore people think there are aliens because they're seeing it on the news. This is like before Roswell, this is before all of that stuff. 1897, this is just either the most vivid imagination or it happened.
Yeah, it looks like the Hindenburg or something. It's got little propellers and there's 6 guys on it? He counted 6 little guys?
6 little beings. And then the rope tied to the cow that was stuck in the fence.
So basically the cow was on the ground, but the rope was sort of like...
The rope around the cow get caught in fence. Little guys in the ship heave-hoeing, but not enough. And the ship is just trying to pull away, and the cow's like... Or more just like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Come down here.
Damn, that's crazy.
I also think it's really funny that these beings are sophisticated enough that they would have a UFO, but they use a rope to get the cow.
Well, I
up
guess
to
I
the
didn't
ship.
imagine where they. I thought the rope was just attached to the cow anyway. And
Oh,
it was sort of. I don't
see.
imagine the little guys are like lassoing.
Well, I imagine they went down there and they like tied him. They were like ready, and then
Maybe,
the cow
maybe.
got stuck. But I would, everything with UFOs is like tractor beam.
Where would aliens even get rope? That's a human.
That's a human
We
thing.
did rope. I
feel
can't
like we did
imagine
it first.
aliens are doing rope.
What if they did do rope first? What if they did the pyramids first?
Do you think any other planets on this entire universe? Do you think they got rope? Do you think they milk on other
They probably
planets?
got rope. They got milk. The weirdness of the rope aside, they got to be pretty strong, right? Do you think you could pulley up a cow with just your muscles with rope?
Yes. Wait, not yet. Not yet. I can't. Now I could.
That's right. Get some of that protein, helps build those muscles. And by the looks of it, you need it. The three men tried to remove the rope, but it wouldn't budge. Unable to free the cow, Hamilton said he saw, quote, the ship, heifer and all, rise slowly, disappearing in the northwest, end quote. After Hamilton's account hit local newspaper stands, the story spread around the globe and was published in papers throughout the United States and Europe. Years later, an elderly Kansas woman came forward with a revelation. Shortly before the story of the cow lifted into the sky by a rope was reported in the Farmer's Advocate, she heard Hamilton boast that he had made it all up. Belonging to a local liars club, Hamilton thrived on creating outlandish tall tales. The woman claimed, quote, the club soon broke up after the airship and cow story. I guess that one had topped them all, end quote. By the way, what do you think of the Liars Club?
I love it.
Why would you believe anything?
Is this them?
Yeah, I guess so.
Whoa!
He's a liar.
Just-
He's a liar.
just
He's
a
a
bunch
liar.
of-
He's a liar.
Just a bunch of fellas who like to fib.
What do they talk about at that club?
Oh God!
You
Pretty
can't
much
believe
anything
anything
they
they're
want.
saying, though. Like, what
Yeah.
are they talking? Just nonsense.
I think the goal is to gas each other up and be like, oh, why don't you go tell them that? I think maybe
they're coming up
maybe
with
you
lies.
cook up schemes
I
to
see.
go, infiltrate the public with a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
And then
Not
see
unlike
who
what
can
we do,
Who can, and I guess Alexander Hamilton. I mean, maybe it sounds like they just shut it down after that because they were like, we're not going to top this.
No, that's our magnum opus right there. That's our
Yeah.
best work. Why would you believe anything these guys say if you knew they were part of the Liars Club?
Yeah, that's sort of the issue. You got to keep that you got to keep that quiet.
But then if you expect a liar to lie, they could use that against you and tell the truth. Therefore, you would think it's a lie, but it's actually the truth and they got away with it.
That's a good point. Let's bring these back.
We should bring
bring
it
it
back. For most of the 20th century, cows were largely left to graze in peace until 1973. Throughout the southwest United States, ranchers began reporting that their cows were going missing.
That's a beautiful image of a cow.
Look at the outline of the udder.
Yeah, you see just a little udder. Actually, is that an udder?
And a bell, too.
If you had a cow, would you put a bell on it?
Yeah, because then I could hear him or her just grazing around.
They like to hear music, sweet music. You could play music for them.
How do
and
you
they
know
listen.
that?
I watch videos of it. People playing
Have you
music.
started
for
the
cows.
Liars Club? Is this a lie?
No. People play music for cows. You can watch them. They really love it.
Huh.
Play a nice violin for them.
Makes the milk taste better.
It does. That's jazz milk.
If they ever did find them, it seemed as though the cows had been involved in some kind of a strange, unexplained extraterrestrial encounter. Despite searching for answers, the farmers could never seem to find the culprit. Between April and October 1975, nearly 200 incidents were reported in Colorado alone. Colorado Senator Floyd Haskell asked the FBI to get involved. By 1979, there were thousands of reports costing ranchers millions of dollars in livestock losses. That year, a Colorado Sheriff Department conducted their own study, concluding that many of the bovines were either stolen or succumbed to environmental exposure. The public was not convinced. By the end of the 70s, fervor over the missing moors subsided, but the reports kept coming in. In July of 1983, a couple near Mount Vernon, Missouri were confused when they saw bright silver flashes coming from a pasture across from their farmhouse. Peering through binoculars, they observed two small humanoid creatures in silver suits guide a floating cow to a nearby cone-shaped object with a mirror-like surface. See, they upgraded. No more rope. You happy? They floated.
Good.
They floated the cow.
Yeah, they got tired of all that heifer hauling.
Hey, it looks like all the milk they got from that last cow helped develop their brain.
But that's what it does, yeah.
That's right. I feel smarter already. Also, I just love the idea of two tiny aliens trying to carry a massive cow.
Well, maybe they put like a little floater on it or something.
Oh, it did say it was floating.
Put a little
floating,
patch
right?
on it and it floats. It looks just, and then it was like, whoa, whoa,
And the cow's like,
oh, move.
it's really good. Cone-shaped object.
Yeah, I guess that's their funny little ship. And look at this guy. He's like, come on, guys, hurry up.
Oh yeah, this guy's like, hurry up, they're seeing us. They have binoculars
They're
over
doing
there.
a whole sketch right now.
As they brought the cow up a ramp onto the ship, a tall reptilian figure with snake-like eyes stood on one side, with a hairy Bigfoot-esque creature on the other. After the cow entered the object, the others joined, and they disappeared. Whoa, Bigfoot went for a ride. I didn't realize he was in cahoots with the aliens.
He gets around.
So this is the reptile guy.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? That's the Bigfoot guy. And then they all get in the ship and they fly away like the end of E.T.
The big reptile guy is different than the little guys in the silver suits.
So
and
these
then
guys
you've
in the
also
suits.
got a Bigfoot. So this is just sort of a motley crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a assortment of cryptids
Now,
making it work.
I want you to put yourself in the mind of people in this community in Mount Vernon, okay? I forget you always have to do that when you do this. Are you there?
Yes.
Somebody tells you this story and they present this hand-drawn sketch. Your thoughts are what?
The year is 1983.
Yes,
Missouri.
that's right. And a Bigfoot and a reptile creature and a UFO. It really has everything, honestly. It's like a Mad Lib.
Fertile area. I could see all these guys hanging out there.
In the Uinta Basin of eastern Utah, April 1995, a cattle rancher went to check on a cow that was calving in the field when he saw lights. At first, the cattleman brushed it off as some kids riding four-wheelers. But as he got closer, he saw the lights hovering over the cow he was looking for. As the rancher approached, the lights took off, flying over 50-foot tall trees. He knew then that it was no four-wheeler.
That seems like a hard thing to imagine, you know? Either one, you're lying about it, but two, you can't just think you see that. That's what, yeah, get a nice swig there.
Thank you.
I believe in aliens, and I would love to see them someday.
This feels like a very cinematic sequence, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, those dang kids are driving their four-wheeler around in my property, and you go out there to like scold them, and then they take off above the trees, and it's like, whoa.
Wow, you've really sold that.
I guess it isn't those kids.
Yeah, that's good.
That's like the opening of a film, title card.
Gonna need milk.
Gonna need milk. Tracking the cows down, the cattleman saw one heifer's hoofprints lead into a snowy field. Suddenly, the prints stop in a circle of broken twigs and branches. Peering up, the rancher saw that the tree's top had been cut off. His best heifers slowly disappeared, one by one, until the family was thrown into financial ruin.
That's sad.
Yeah. Well, think about how the cows felt that they were left behind, seeing all their friends go bye-bye.
That's really sad.
What you're not asking, though, is the important question of why do they need all of these cows? Are they that thirsty? Or is the milk being used for something else? Because, like, you have one cow, that should be enough for, like, a small column. Maybe not, actually. How much milk comes out of one cow?
Especially if they're little guys. Because to them, that's like...
That's a huge...
I saw when you were showing the little silvery guys in
Yeah.
their little suits. They had to be, what, like that tall?
Yeah, so their milk glass is...
Oh, you know.
That's enough.
Probably like that big.
Maybe they observed us drinking milk as children and made us grow big and strong. They're like, I want to be big and strong. We should take some of those magic animals.
Because they're smaller. They don't get big.
And I want to get big, though. And it's milk.
Get big like us.
Well, milk is the missing ingredient.
Could be.
That's just a thought. I should have drank more milk when I was a kid.
Yeah, you should have.
I regret it.
Yeah.
I would have been at least an inch taller.
Still not very tall, I guess. But it's not working. Just get back down.
What do you mean?
You're gonna hurt yourself.
I'm not down. After the story was published in a local newspaper, the family discovered an interesting solution to their money problems. A secretive aerospace investor purchased the ranch to have his research team conduct 24-hour surveillance of the property. no findings have ever been released to the public.
Hack. You get the cows to help with the research because they got those big brains full of nutrients.
Makes them smarter.
That's right.
I could see it's already working on you.
My synapses are alive. They're firing on all cylinders. I'm smarter than I've ever been. It's all downhill from here.
That's a nice change. Compiling all of the evidence, the cow connection is clear. Outside of human abductions, no other animal appears to be the target of their interest like our four-hooved friends. But what is the purpose? Why are cows being abducted by aliens? For that, we have a few theories. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Would you like to throw a theory of your own out before I get to these?
Well, they're pretty creatures. You know?
I think that's probably enough.
They got big bashful eyelashes. You know, they're always like, you ever seen a cow's eyelashes?
It seems like you have.
They're really stunning. Yeah, they are.
Now your milk thing is getting a little weird.
No, I mean, you look up cow eyelashes. They got beautiful eyes.
I know you're trying to make a point here. I'm just not quite sure what it is.
They're big. You know, there's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And I guess if you go to a planet and you're like, what do we take here? Probably the big one that there's a lot of, right? You take the big one that there's a lot of.
Yeah.
Take the big one that there's a lot of.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying. Yeah. So
there's a littler one, and sure, he eat cracker and take Subway, but what's going on with that? I don't know about that guy. He's not big.
We could test that theory by putting you in like a black and white suit.
I guess they've
put tape and udder to your stomach and then have you walk around.
You know what? When you think about it, though, they have abducted plenty of humans.
Yeah.
So
humans and cows.
Humans and cows.
Those are the two things they like.
Abundant creatures. A lot of humans, a lot of cows. Cows big. You know, we're spending a lot of time with cows.
True. I haven't really. I've always wanted to touch an udder. It looks so fun to like jiggle.
I think I've milked a cow in my life.
What was it like? What did it feel like?
Soft.
But like the sensation of the milk running through the tube of the nipple. How did that feel?
It's an udder.
How did it feel? Can you show me how you milked it?
You do sort of you know?
Yeah. We could put an udder in post, right?
And you kind of gotta, you know. Is the udder, is that full of milk?
I was wondering that. That's why, is it inside or is the udder like a basin of milk?
I've always wondered that.
Because then if you're milking, conceivably then the udder would shrink down.
Yeah.
Theory 1, aliens want cows for their milk.
Aliens gotta have that milk.
They do.
They're gonna need milk.
They're gonna need milk.
You're an alien zipping around the cosmos.
That's right.
You're gonna need milk.
Top of the checklist. What are we gonna need?
Milk.
Milk, rope, I guess.
Milk and rope.
Milk and a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Number 4, if we could,
3 space travel essentials.
If we could swing it, maybe we get a lizard person. I don't know. In 1947, a rancher found scattered debris from a wreck that happened just outside the dairy capital of the Southwest, Roswell, New Mexico. On July 8th, the local newspaper put out a press release from the Roswell Army Airfield. RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. While the Army attempted to retract the story almost immediately, it ignited a flurry of interest that continues to this day. If aliens truly did crash in Roswell, why were they there? Was it a military operation? Was it to study cows? Was it to learn how dairy milk is produced? All valid questions, you know? Furthermore, one species of alien...
You got a trigger warning, please.
This is like the mom I threw up meme.
Yeah. I love that.
Mom, I threw up. If that guy was standing in my doorway, I'd first be scared and then I'd be like, tight.
You'd hang with him, put a little backwards hat on him, teach him how to skateboard.
You wanna watch the World Cup, buddy? Come on. Furthermore, one species of alien dominates all cattle-related eyewitness accounts: gray aliens. In 1961, abductees Betty and Barney Hill gave us the best description of their captors. They had spindly bodies, enormous slanted eyes, and large bald heads. If this description is accurate, it shows a species where intelligence, adaptability, and social complexity are favored over raw physical strength. Instead of big bodies, they have developed big brains that may need nutrients found in dairy milk. With 13 essential nutrients important for brain health, memory, and cognitive function, milk could be beneficial to a species with such large craniums.
That's a lot of nutrients.
That's right. It feeds my big brain. This is how I make all my Mystery Files episodes. I drink a big glass of milk and I get to click it on my keyboard.
That's how we solve everything.
That's right. That's how I solve everything.
Everything.
Don't look at my record of how many things I've solved.
We solve it all.
It is nice now knowing that every sip I take, thinking my brain's getting a little bit bigger.
That's not how it works at all.
It's how it works,
and you
right?
wouldn't want your brain to get bigger because then
this
you
is
would
the pressure.
Which nutrients specifically are big brain nutrients?
Good, because you do need that help. B12
Yeah.
and zinc.
Okay, good to know. Let me note that.
They help cognitive function. But it has all these other vitamins too,
Why not?
you know?
Hey, I'll take all I can get. I'm 40 now.
For a long trip across solar systems, milk could provide the visitors sustained energy with protein and B vitamins. For our Earth astronauts, milk is so nutrient dense that special forms of powdered milk have been developed for them to drink in space. Still, work has been done to send non-powdered dairy milk into space, as the proteins help strengthen bones as they lose density in space. Perhaps after light years in their ships, the aliens need the milk straight from the source. So they're seeing the powers of milk and they're like, I need some of that power. And that's why they're taking the cows, because they
But you
want the
think they
milk.
gotta come all the way to Earth for it?
I mean, if people would think there's not water on alien planets, it stands to reason there would probably be no cows or milk, unless they have some other kind of animal there.
I feel like they would need water on alien planets.
Well,
or
a lot of
some
people
sort
think they don't have them on planets, because water is actually an extremely rare thing in the cosmos.
Yeah, we don't really know how rare, I guess.
So I think the odds of there being cows with their delicious, juicy milk, probably not a thing. So they probably have to come here to harvest the cows to get the milk. I mean, why else would they be stealing them? At least that's what this theory is presenting.
Yeah. No, I get it. Milk good. Aliens need it.
I want some of that milk. I mean, if aliens were watching us drink this milk right now and looking at our
probably
faces
going-
after it hits our lips.
I want some of that white stuff.
Theory 2, cows are descendants of aliens. You are hearing that correctly.
What? Now, when I see a theory like this, I always have to ask,
Yeah.
is this a theory that's been put out by people in the past, or is this just one of your weird little things?
This is a theory that's actually been put out.
People have said this.
People have said this.
Okay.
And by people, I don't mean me.
All right.
Like, I didn't come up with this theory. I'm not going to claim credit.
Well, I love it on site.
Well, strap in, because it's
Okay.
about to get real good. Theory 2, cows are descendants of aliens. On May 21st, 2001, a Bulgarian man dug at the exact spot in the Rhodope Mountains that 5 humanoids had told him to search in his dream. Buried alongside a small elliptical metal object was a skull unlike any he had seen before. While the skull was as small as a human baby's, the bone structure was lighter and thinner. Instead of a mouth and eyes, the skull had 6 cavities researchers believe belonged to the alien's sensory organs. There was no apparent mouth, but seemed to have 6 eyes. Rumors in the region of a hastily buried alien that had been killed by World War II soldiers made their way to the Bulgarian man. Could this be its skull? Examining the Rhodope skull, acclaimed archaeologists and professors alike had never seen anything like it. However, some claim the skull did have a relative, a cow. Comparing it to a broken skull of a modern calf, the eye openings on the Rhodope skull lined up with the openings for the passage of nerves from the calf's brain. Unfortunately, the Rhodope skull went missing before DNA testing could be conducted, leaving the question open. Could it be that cows had evolved from this ancient alien? Could cows be from space?
Space cow.
Space cow.
Space cow.
Sounds like a ridiculous cartoon, but maybe. What do you think of this skull? It's pretty cool.
It's weird because it honestly looks like a bone from a different part of a body, right?
Oh, I could see like a pelvic bone, like this right here, maybe, but I don't know what the holes are
Yeah. There's bones got holes. Bones is
yeah.
mostly holes.
for. Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't
Like
know.
like osteoporosis or something ate away at it, perhaps.
Or yeah, if it was out in the wild, maybe a little critter got gnawing.
Yeah, in a
I don't
very.
know. It's a weird looking thing.
It's a
a
weird
shame
looking
they
skull.
lost it. It's a crying shame.
This always happens.
This always
though.
happens.
They always throw out bones and
Take
like,
care of your bones.
Take care
and you
of
can do that
evidence.
by drinking milk, making sure you don't get that osteoporosis.
That's good. That's real. You know what?
But truly, don't lose your bones. If you find a special bone like this, keep it under lock and key. Make people maybe sign it out if you're going to borrow it
Yeah,
to someone.
like a library book.
Put some sort of tag on it.
Sure.
A location tracking thing.
Yeah, low jack that thing.
Low jack your bones.
I just feel like people need to take better care of their evidence. This goes across all cases. We see this all the time. People just throwing evidence away or like not properly taking care of it. Chain of custody is a real thing.
Even Bulgarians.
Yeah, I guess.
Just because you're in Bulgaria doesn't mean you could get sloppy with your bones.
No, you don't want to get sloppy with your bones. Who was the case that they threw the bones out? Oh, Amelia Earhart. Remember that? They found the bones on the island and then they threw them away. What's up with that?
Didn't they throw bones away in the solder children too?
They threw away bones in the solder children
throwing bones away? Don't throw your bones away. Hang on to the bones. How hard could it be? Get a little box.
This belongs in a museum.
Yeah, it does. A bone museum.
Theory 3. Aliens believe cows are the dominant species. You had actually kind of alluded to this when I asked you for theories earlier, so I thought you would like this one in particular.
This is interesting. This is like a lot of times people say this about cats, the way we're so, or in dogs our pets in general, how we're so, like, we're tending to them.
Yeah.
We're catering to them.
So like they're the kings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. This is somewhat of a similar train of thought. You'll see. In the United States, when we overlay a map showing the density of cows with a map showing UFO sightings, it becomes apparent that there is a connection. UFOs follow the moo.
Well, the only connection we've made today is that between dairy milk and healthy living.
Hey, amen to that.
Amen, brother.
Amen. Yeah, that's great. That's really good. Oh, that's a good connection. I really do like it.
That's crazy looking. That's so much milk. Thank you. Drones being a little more ubiquitous now, do you think that makes UFO sightings pop off?
Well, I mean, drones aren't huge. People don't.
No, but people seeing lights in the sky and going like,
Yeah, but they're usually like, like a correlation of lights or like a collection of lights.
I know. Never mind. Yeah, I'll shut up.
I didn't mean it. You don't have to.
No, it's a stupid.
It wasn't stupid.
Anyway, this is interesting. They're everywhere, huh? Cows. People aren't.
That's true.
Well, we hide away, stay inside.
Yeah, they're
read
visible.
Our books.
They're visible. They're out.
Cows are out.
They're out in the pasture.
They're out there.
Yeah, huddled away in our little hovels. You doing your weird things you do in your apartment.
I do normal things.
Okay, now I really don't think you do, because that smile was crazy. These areas tend to be vast rural tracts of land with plenty of space for spaceships from other planets to land and explore. When the aliens arrive, the only other things the aliens are likely to find are observatories and space telescopes, which are stationed in remote locations to be far from light pollution. When aliens arrive on this planet they believe to be full of life, they find cows surrounded by sophisticated satellite dishes, broadcasting messages into the far reaches of space. Considering this, it is almost logical to conclude that cows could be seen as the dominant species on Earth.
That makes sense.
Especially by aliens who may not know better, but I would imagine they would know better, but who knows?
They're supposed to have big brains.
Maybe that's why they need the milk. And then they'll see the light.
They drink enough milk
They'll realize.
until they finally realize that humans are in control. But they are abducting us as well.
They're abducting us too. They're leaving it up to, we'll take that one, we'll take this one.
When was the last time someone was really abducted?
There's a woman in Brooklyn who was taken from her apartment.
By little yellow creatures. Were they yellow?
Yeah, they might have been wearing overalls and had goggles, I'm not sure. But yeah, they took her out of her apartment. Levitated her, in fact. No cows there, though.
That's what they did with the cow, though. They levitated it. Might have been the same guys.
That was also the same story, though, that had Bigfoot and the lizard that were waiting.
Well, maybe they were there, too.
In the getaway car, in the getaway cone vehicle. So, for what it's worth, this is the third theory. So it's not a ridiculous one. There is some logic behind it in terms of the overlay here, if you look. Well, that does it for the theories. What do you think? Which one would you go with? It's not solved, but which one would you go with here?
I feel like they're taking cows because there's a lot of cows and there's a lot of people. Would cows be the second most dominant species? Well, no, because you got bugs and stuff. But
do we have like a population number on cows versus humans on the planet Earth?
It's like if you go to a buffet and there's a tray full of people and a tray full of cows.
Yeah.
And then like a bunch of other stuff. It's like barely anything, right? This metaphor works.
No, it doesn't, because
put that on my plate. Give me some people. Give me some cows.
I'm thinking if I go to a buffet and there's a large quantity of two things, I'm thinking those two things must suck. So I'm gonna get things that are gone.
Well, the other thing too, think about this, man.
Okay.
Cows, quite large.
Yep.
People, quite large. Maybe they're taking flies and spiders all the time. We don't know. Birds?
If I was an alien and if I was gonna take an insect, I would take a mosquito because that's actually gathering samples for me.
Smart.
Right?
That's smart.
Jurassic Park in it.
But I'm saying maybe they take everything, but we just notice the cows and we notice the people.
Gotcha.
Cows because they're big and people because they go, I got two, now I'm back.
Yeah. That's right. They're making their own Noah's Ark. if you
Surely
will.
they take dogs, cats, right?
They could certainly try.
But they got a bunch of strays. They can take those anywhere.
Huh.
I think they're taking things left and right, but certainly they're definitely taking cows
We
because
only
they want
notice
some
the
of that
cow.
good milk.
I see. Well, we only notice the cows because they're so large, maybe.
Yeah, and you're keeping an eye on your cows.
Yeah, because I want my milk.
Yeah,
Gonna need milk.
gonna need milk.
I'm gonna need it. I have to have it.
Gonna need that milk. Gonna need that cow back.
That's what I would be screaming into the skies as they took my cow.
Yeah.
Gonna need milk!
Yeah.
Theory 1. Aliens want that milk.
Yeah.
Theory 2. Cows are evolved from aliens. Theory 3. They think cows are the dominant species on Earth.
While I don't doubt that if they abducted a cow and had some of that milk, they're probably like, yeah, we like this. I'm gonna go with theory 3 because cows are abundant, they're everywhere. People are abundant, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Communities built around the cows, so like, you know.
Agriculture, all that, sure.
Yeah. The one problem I have with theory 3, though, is I would assume that aliens aren't exactly very observant and their deductive reasoning isn't that great. And I would imagine they're much smarter than us. They'd be able to figure out that's not the dominant species. So I'm gonna go with 1. I think they just want that milk.
They just want that milk.
And that's fine with me.
Can you blame them?
I can't blame them.
Yeah.
Gonna need it.
Gonna need it. Well, I guess we'll never know.
Well, we may never know why aliens are visiting our planet or stealing our majestic beasts, but we do know that cows are gentle creatures who have nurtured the human race with their sweet, delicious elixir for millennia. Let's raise a glass and drink up because we're going to really need some of that extra brain health to solve this case, which, for now, remains a mystery. Well, we've done good work here. They're taking the cows, they want the milk, who knows? All I know is this is delicious. Next time you see me, I'm gonna be 6 feet tall.
Do you want to hang out after the episode?
What? For what?
Just drink some milk together.
Okay.